All right, guys, we got a special show here on the channel in our usual GPP Bro time slot. We are going to tackle the Underdog slate today and the Battle Royale slates, Battle Royale streets. It's an awesome slate. We get all 6 games. We got 20K up top in the Battle Royale. We got the bomb, the fullback dive, all kinds of fun contests. And we're going to dive into it today with the Badge Bros, Jon Warner and Nez. And I believe Numi's going to swing by here and help us break it down. We'll also build some pick'ems. If you're looking to fire this weekend on the games, we'll build some of those out. And then immediately after this, we're going to hop over to the Badge Bros channel and continue, but with playoff best ball exclusive talk. So BR for the wildcard slate here, playoff best ball on there. We're going to go here for the next few hours. Buckle up. Let's do it. Just realized I don't have a cold open yet in here for that. So there's no sizzle. We're just straight into it.
I kind of like that. Let's just go. Let's just waste no time, man. We got slates to draft. This is a hell of a weekend.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? I've been like struggling trying to balance man, Gauntlet 2 still open. I feel like I'm in a groove with these. And also I want to fire hard at Battle Royale.
I've been I feel bad. I'm trying to, anytime that I'm not drafting, I'm trying to be like extra sweet to my wife and like see if she needs anything taken care of. Like, how you doing? You need any water? Like, what's going on? Because I'm so locked in on these slates, on the playoff best ball, on the main slate. I mean, even these like side contests are like awesome because they're 4-person drafts, no ADP. So I'm just like dialed in as hell right now. And tonight might be a long night because I do have to go to dinner somewhere with the with some family. So as soon as I get back, I mean, it's going to be the closest thing to an all-nighter as I've done since college.
We're going to be the guys at the party that taking a little extra long washroom break. Like, yeah, is Nez okay in there? Is he okay? Oh yeah, he's fine. Don't worry.
John, what is your, outside of like the main stuff, like Nez mentioned some of the other like maybe smaller slates, like which one is your favorite right now? Because I haven't even gotten into those yet.
Yeah, I've been mainly hanging with the big BR with the 6 one. I really like the 6 slate. Just in general, I think it's one of the most fun slates of the year. Like, there's so much good talent on this slate. And then there's so much uncertainty that makes every room different, like, regardless of ADP. It might be one of the best slates to draft all year. I mean, your scroll the F down options are still guys like, Jaden Reed and Christian Watson and, good, solid players. It's the uncertainty with, like, people double counting weather and the dome boner games, and then you got the 2 injured quarterbacks squaring off in some light rain on Monday night. There is like, I don't know, it's kind of like all lined up perfect for like a GPP style slate. It's wild.
It's also weird too, because I completely agree. Like the one of the things we always talk about with the battle royales is you'll have like the 10 to 12 guys at the top with like the monster ceiling, and they separate. And then after that, it's like, scroll the F down. They're all the same. This slate is weird in that outside of like Lamb and Amon-Ra, like there doesn't seem to be this like overwhelming confidence. It's like the pool of players this week is so much deeper and stronger from like a medium perspective, but the like elite plays are just feeling more dampened. Like everyone's now worried about the Bills weather. So Josh Allen is falling. Everyone's worried about Tyreek Hill. Like he's falling to all of this stuff. And even like what's wild to me, Amon-Ra goes 2, Jared Goff goes undrafted in most of these. And he's in like one of the nut dome spots. Like this slate is wild from like how people are attacking it. And I just see in my drafts, there's so much IKB, there's so much double counting, and everyone's brains, I feel like, are kind of frazzled in this slate.
Big time frazzled. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can play this. And I think thankfully, because we're working with 6 games, you can correlate a little bit more than we're used to as well in the main. Even though it is still a ton of entrants, I do think you can get away with correlating more than you could in the regular season when we were dealing with 10 games, 13 games. So that makes drafting more fun for me, at least.
It's interesting that you said Amon-Ra number 2 there, Pete, because I've low-key been mixing Tyreek at 2. I'm not snow-pilled. I'm not cold weather pilled here. Today is the coldest day Vancouver ever right now. Minus 10 degrees Celsius right now. So I looked it up.
Can
it's
convert
like
that.
7.
No one knows what the hell
it's
that
like
means.
7 Fahrenheit. It's like 7.
That could have been
Like,
like
not even
50
cold.
degrees Fahrenheit, and none of us would have known. So
It's like it's not even cold. And then I look, everybody's talking up how cold this game is, and I look at like the weather projections and stuff, and that's like the game's gonna start in Kansas City. It's like 6 degrees. I'm like, these guys are gonna be totally fine.
So let me ask you, because I don't think that's like bad at all. Like, you're taking him 2 spots ahead of ADP, but I am seeing him falling. Like, don't you just want to pack as much of your Tyreek bags from like 3, 4, 5, 6? Because I assume like, so you're Tyreek Hill over Amon-Ra in a vacuum.
Yeah. So like I was just trying to be like, when else can I get
Yeah.
exploitative with Tyreek, and when can I get like 45% Tyreek? And this might be like the only time ever. And the other thing that like contributes to that is like, just take weather off the table for a second. If you just look at like, ceiling of him, I guess Amon-Ra's ceiling is different without Laporta, but ceiling of Tyreek versus like ceiling of Amon-Ra, like I obviously lean Hill side, but like the other thing is Waddle still, limited practices and stuff like this. Like I still think there's a chance that, maybe they come in and they're run heavy and they're playing slightly more conservative because of all the injuries they have, but all the first read targets are just going to funnel to Tyreek. And I don't know, can't you just see him throwing up those peace signs and being like, F you, KC, and just being like dropping 202 on their heads?
Yeah, I'm not like fading him, and I'm happily grabbing him at 4, 5, 6 every single time, but I'm not taking him over Amon-Ra. I'm not there.
Fair enough.
I feel like Amon-Ra can be flashing some of his own deuce signs to that Rams secondary in the dome too.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
Yeah, that game has me really excited because you can also do a little bit of run back with it as well. That one is really hard for me to see failing. I'm not really sure how that game fails. Rams are coming together at the right time against that Lions secondary. I don't want to get too like micro as far as like how I'm attacking that game, but I mean, I just don't see how that game fails. So I am Amon-Ra too, and I would even put one of those Rams wide receivers probably over Tyreek at this point. But just because I think he will fall to 5 and 6 a good amount if you do these at volume.
Yeah, I think just like the combos you get with him falling, like what's the difference? Like,
true.
How much better is like Tyreek plus, like I guess if you let Tyreek fall, you get like Tyreek plus Evans, or you get Tyreek plus Josh Allen, or you get Tyreek plus Cooper on that far side.
Yeah.
Whereas
well, that's what
I was just gonna say, whereas like if he falls if you take him at like 2, sometimes those guys fall to you anyways, or the same combos are readily available, or you can game stack with Kelsey.
Yeah. I would say, and I feel like this has been an evergreen comment, like once Mike Evans is off the board, I feel like it's really just kind of, you can justify a lot of different plays. Like, I don't think you're making a mistake. Like once you start like really just kind of reaching and grabbing whoever there. But Nez, I did want to ask you, you said you like bringbacks. Obviously, if you take him on Raw, you're most likely not getting one of the 3 big Rams. Are you tacking on a Rams bringback outside of the big 3 with Amon-Ra?
That would be pretty thin. That'd be pretty thin. I'm more so like it from the like grabbing a Ram first and then tacking on like Montgomery from that standpoint and running it back with Montgomery with like Puka or Kupp. I'm leaving the Demarcus Robinson shares strictly to best ball and trying to chase that the touchdown luck that he's getting in that contest. I will say though, as far as the Rams go, I think I'm not so sure that Kyren Williams is worthy of a 3rd overall pick in this contest.
Yeah,
I tend to agree.
I'm with you. We've been talking about it all week over on Ship Chasing too. I mean, I think it's a little different in the playoff best ball contest, right? Where you're like, you're playing for them to win and, you're wanting to make that macro bet on the team, but like, it's not the best spot for him. And you go and you pull up the projections and he's not separating from Jahmyr Gibbs, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, Pacheco, Jones, or Singletary in a massive way. He does project the best, but like all those other guys are like nipping on his heels from a projection standpoint. I think it's just the classic thing of the positional scarcity this week, right? Like there's no clicks you just feel overwhelmingly great about. And Kyren has been pushed up as the de facto comfy click.
Yeah, and I just think, the one thing Detroit can do well is play the run. So I think if Kyren does get there, he's going to need to be quite involved with the passing game, which isn't like an absurd ask. I mean, he can do that, but it's also, like you mentioned, like these other running backs that are not far behind him, and some really nice scroll down options like to boot that are not going in every single round. So you get leverage on overall draft pool throughout in the contest, plus better capital spent at that pick. Anyway, so I'm just not buying that at 3 at all.
Nezzy, I just made a note based on what you said there that I think is really sharp. There is like, we know Kyren's going to be out there for 88+% of snaps. He's going to be utilized as the pass catching running back and stuff like that. I'm going to do some skinny stacks with him and Staff, because only like Staff's going to be basically only drafted when someone has Puka or Cup. I think that's like a nice little leverage play that you just, brought to my attention there, because like, as you said, Lions are the best defense on the slate against the run, like period.
Yep. I think that's a good call. I think as far as we've seen that kind of meta hit, obviously the Purdy CMC stuff, I think it's very viable with Goff and Gibbs. If you wanted to do it with Mahomes and Pacheco, with Pacheco going to be playing all the passing downs, obviously it's viable with Rashad White. I mean, almost every one of these top backs until you get to redacted. And then you get kind of more of the 2 down thumpers. I mean, I think you could justify the quarterback skinny stacks with the top 6 running backs.
I love it. And it'll go underutilized for sure, because it is such an easy slate to stack. Like even like the quote unquote premium stacks, like, Dak falls back to CD like quite frequently. Josh Allen is falling so that Diggs is available with him in the 2nd and 3rd round. You can have Hurts and Smith, or Hurts and AJ Brown whenever the F you want it. So, I mean, like it's weird that the hardest stack to obtain now is a game stack around the Houston and Browns game there, because you have to either push up Njoku to go alongside Cooper, or, you got to hope that Nico Collins falls. But after the projections came out, Nico Collins isn't falling anymore. Anyways, long-winded way of saying that, like, all the stacks are so clean this week that, it'll be underutilized to stack with running back.
For sure.
Yeah.
I will say, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to say.
No, mine's really stupid. I have a feature request for Numi. How sick would it be if, when you query in here for players, like I wrote CLE and I get the Cleveland, if you could do Houston and then see that entire game?
Yeah, if you hear us, please. That would be fantastic. There's so many ways that we can improve that search bar for things like that. Like that would be so handy in the playoff best ball streets as well. Maybe next year, put on the wish list. I wanted to just wipe my hands clean and say, when you look at ADP and you look at running backs, I am not responsible for Najee Harris being over David Montgomery. That is not me. I promise that is not me. I am getting as much David Montgomery as I can. I am not taking Najee in the main. I promise.
I don't know if you read, I referenced this on Ship Chasing last night, but Sean Siegel wrote up his piece, kind of the players he liked. And he made like not even a half-hearted effort, but like a legitimate sell on Najee.
Did we lose Pete?
I didn't know if that was me.
We both like froze. We're like, there's no way we lost Pete. That's gotta be us. Oh,
now we have to drive the ship. This is bad.
Dude, somebody screen grab Pete like that right now, because that's pretty epic. That's we can make some good memes with that one. There's gonna be some GMs flowing out of that one.
We should.
I don't know.
We should stage like a reaction, like maybe like I'm like shocked and you're smiling, like you just said something like.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. You're gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go with the point. I'm gonna go with the point. Like, all right.
Yeah. Okay. That. So he's saying he just lost internet and he wants us to hold it down. I don't know that's possible.
Okay. Here I will.
You gonna screen share?
Yeah. Sure. Hold on one second here. Let's okay. I wanted to talk about. We were talking about running backs there. I want to talk about. Redacted, because we kind of just low-key glossed over him for a second. Dude, last week, let me see, Chrome tab, utilization report. Here we go. Let me know if I got to hit a couple zooms and stuff like this. Last week, like Dallas played to win. Like they were trying to win that football game. And they played all the starters and whatnot. Look at Tony's snap share.
Are you presenting?
I can't present because he has to give me authority to present.
Oh, does he? Okay, hold on. Let's okay. I'm gonna log in on this other screen. And so that way we can screen share in the meantime. So what's the snap share looking like?
Or
you want
Tony Pollard played? No. He played 56.9% of snaps, and there was like a little bit of garbage time in it in the end there, but like, man, they were using Rico in some spots even after Tony scored the touchdown. Like Rico played 36% of snaps. That's
really interesting for playoff best ball.
Yo, like low key, like maybe they think he's their best running back now. Like he had a little bit of juice too. Like he had like a little like off guard to the left side where he broke off like 15, 13 yards, something like that. And it was kind of like, whoa, I haven't seen Tony do that in a minute, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, as soon as I write him off, he has like a tremendous game. I mean, that just makes a ton of sense. That makes too much sense. This is definitely a spot where we should be aping into Tony Pollard, though, if we are going to use the data points that we have been using all season long for identifying good running back plays. Yeah. Good spread, good total, Packers. Like
inside.
And they're in Dallas. So
I know
I've been taking a lot of Tony Pollard, and I was forced into doing what you were talking about with the stacking of quarterbacks and running backs with Dak, Pollard, and Ferguson in a fullback dive just before I hopped on this stream, which I liked a lot.
I think that will be the most utilized running back. Actually, maybe Baker, Rashad White, Mike Evans would be the most utilized 3-person stack with a running back, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it much with Tua. I haven't seen it much with Gibbs. I barely see it with Mahomes. Mahomes basically only goes with Kelsey, or some other people push up like Trout with Nico or something like that.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. If it is done, it is most likely Dak with Pollard. I would venture to guess. But that, speaking of that game though, I'm on team Packers are much more live dogs than people think. Are you? Can you entertain that at all? Because from what I'm hearing from other people, it's not even a question that Packers are coming in and putting in work.
I think it's two separate conversations. Do I think they can come in and win the football game, or do I think they're good for our Battle Royale contest? And I think the answer to are they good for our Battle Royale contest is yes, because they're going undrafted. They're going to have to pass to win. The game script is either going to be, hey, we come in here and do what we do best, which is pass the football, or we're trailing because we're 7-point road dogs. We have to pass the football. Now, the problem with it for me in the BR streets is the way the injury report is right now. I have no idea which receiver to play. So it's like, I don't even know which tight end to play. Like, I want to get like a skinny stack with like Love and Kraft, or I want to get a skinny stack with whatever. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I think I would go just Jaden Reed and Love skinnies and hope it's unique enough and use it like, as long as you're not using it as a bring back off of Lamb, like that's the chalky way to build it. I think they're going to be fine in this contest.
Something to note as far as Luke Musgrave goes, you talked about not knowing which tight end to choose, and I agree, it is tough. He said in a comment yesterday that he checked out fine in his return and expects to take on a larger workload Sunday after missing 6 games. So apparently, maybe they were taking it easier on him in that first game back. So there is a chance that he resumes that starting tight end role, which is interesting because right now Tucker Kraft is going ahead of him, which like I would have been doing all week until I heard, from the horse's mouth that, hey, I am going to play more. So that is interesting. And as far as the wide receiver question goes, which wide receiver do you take? For me, it's Christian Watson. I want the guy that he's coming back. He's missed like 5 straight games or something. Yeah. And he's been practicing, limited albeit, but has been practicing. If he's on the field, I want him for the little bit of leverage that I can get, because I think Reed is for certain the field's choice if they're going to take a Packers wide receiver. So get a little bit of leverage there. Plus, I mean, the ceiling on Watson is well known. I mean, it's Thanksgiving all over again, man. Let's just play it like what he's gonna like what he did.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. Yeah, the I'm looking here. Romeo Doubs has also been limited both times this week. I don't know. It's a weird situation because like even if Watson's like 100% ready to go, let's say Doubs sits, let's say both tight ends play, like just painting like a hypothetical narrative here for you. Let's say even AJ Dillon sits because he's gone back-to-back DNPs, which probably makes Aaron Jones like the safest play on the team, right?
Sure.
Okay. Like if we just play that kind of like mindset, I think Melton and Wicks have done enough to earn rotationary snaps that it's like not nearly as clean as we think it is. Like I would love to just go like, hey, yeah, Christian Watson, the guy that we know and love and breaks slates, and you know, we were drafting him in the 3rd round all best ball season. I'd love to just pluck him into my lineups. I don't know, man. Like on a 1-to-1 week basis here, what's the difference between him and Wicks this week?
I think they are a little different. I think if you have both of them healthy,
yeah,
like Christian Watson's their guy. I mean,
okay.
But you're not wrong in that like I think Wicks has definitely earned himself some playing time. I would think that that's more so at the expense of maybe Doubs, but I've never been that much of a Romeo Doubs guy. So that's probably a little bit of my bias, but the point stands is that they've got weapons. So maybe if you just want to do like Jordan Love, Aaron Jones,
yeah, we can.
He's coming back. Whoa,
Pete from 1995.
Dude, this is bad. The internet just is completely down in my neighborhood right now.
That's bad. Do you have bad weather right there?
Man, I don't have you guys at all.
Oh, damn it. This is not it.
Pixelated Pete AOL boy.
It looks like we're in like a commercial for like internet connection. Like, don't be like Pete up here. Nice connection.
It's like when those guys win the NASCAR Xfinity races, they shout out as fast as like we were going as fast as Xfinity internet today.
Okay, I have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I have to leave the stream for a second and join right back in, so that way we can screen share. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Do
it up. There we go. What's up, Pete? We just got to keep him here for like moral support. Oh man. Yeah, I got 35 of these BRs done right now, and I mean on Wednesday I was talking up Jalen Hurts being like underpriced and going heavy into that stuff there. Man, I am souring now that he still hasn't even thrown a football. So I still have 62% Jalen Hurts. So I'm not like fully souring on it yet. But yeah, Nez, I was just saying, man, the Jalen Hurts stuff is like legit starting to scare me.
Oh, it has to be pretty scary, right? I mean, hasn't thrown a football yet. AJ Brown hasn't practiced. This isn't very good.
It's weird that at the start of the week, it's kind of like flipped. Like the start of the week was we were most scared about Devonta and Swift, and now it's kind of like, oh, those feel the safest on that team.
Yeah, right. It's kind of. I feel really good about them if AJ Brown doesn't play. I can allow your screen to share. Let me try it. I'll see how it works.
Okay.
There we go.
Cheers.
I also have something else to add. Let me see if I can get this to work.
Let's do this. Oh, there we go. We got it. We're just
right.
in. All right, let's take over Pete's channel. Numi muted as hell as always. There we go.
I mean, I'm coming in here with the handheld freaking mic as I tried to both stands and it's just not working. What am I in right now? What is happening? Like
we have engulfed Pete. And now Peach Channel is us. Welcome, everybody.
I joined the link in our little chat as I get done with the Zoom, and all of a sudden I'm like, come in here. There's no Pete. Then Pete's coming in here, like half here. I have no idea what's going on, but yeah, happy to be here, fellas. Oh wow,
We're
here
back.
we go.
We're back.
Let's go.
Oh, perfect. All right. We're floundering.
What happened? I mentioned we started joking about Najee Harris, and then all the Yinzers attacked my internet. Apparently,
Yeah, you got DDoSed hard. Shouldn't have done that. So could you? Oh, we were talking about Tony Redacted and how he's low key a good play based on the data points that we've been using to identify good plays earlier this season.
That's what you were talking about. I was giving myself a narrative to fade him because of Rico's new usage.
You're gonna have to show me some of the data on
Okay.
the
What I was saying with the utilization report here was that Rico last week takes a step in the right direction. Granted, maybe a little bit of garbage time mixed in there, but I'm looking at this 36. I'm looking at, one nice run that he broke off last week, and the fact that they were in a must-win situation, not must-win, but playing to win situation. And they leaned on him a little bit more than we had seen in recent memory. I think Rico's finally healthy.
I mean, like, I still don't think that makes Tony Redacted a bad play in the BR though. I'm not getting
okay. I'm just saying, I think this is finally the narrative that I can spin to not be overweight this week, Nez.
Godspeed.
This is why I'll say Tony's a bad play, and it literally is just like BR game theory, right? Like, he is like the worst of the backs that get drafted in every contest. Like, I'm telling you, man, like Devin Singletary and Tony Pollard project very similar straight up, and one of them is getting drafted in 100% of them, and another isn't. I mean, Singletary is the uber smash on this slate at running back.
I agree there. Singletary and Montgomery are like my favorite running back plays, and that's where I try to live, just based on the amount of times that they're drafted. But I still think that Tony Pollard makes sense based on the things that, like, what I was saying is, like, he's at home, high total, large spread against the Packers. That's something that I've been targeting. So he fits that mold. He's still the starting running back. So I hear you. He's definitely the worst.
You and I just swapped bodies. Freaky Friday, bud. Pete, why don't you bring back up the underdog stuff there and the helm again here? We can look at some of the ADP targets, because I think that was a good segue to it. Yeah,
let's real quick. I want to ask you guys the age old correlation conversation for how heavily you guys are going in on specific game environments, because I think it's even more interesting this week. One, it's a smaller slate than a typical BR, and two, you have all these weather concerns where you actually think macro game environments could allow for less shootout potential. In all of my fullback dives I've been doing quarterback double stack there. I've still been kind of doing mainly skinny stacks, maybe a bring back if I like the game environment. I haven't been doing a ton of double stacks in the big BR. Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, I'm in lockstep with you there. I mean, it feels like one of those weird ass slates where it's just like the field size. It's obviously always going to be contest size dependent, and it does feel like one of those weird ass slates where it's like, hey, you know what? If naked Joe Flacco is the reason somebody wins because tight end 5 edges out Njoku by 0.6 points, well, I'm just not going to get there. Like, I just never would have had that on my radar. But that doesn't deter me from just like sticking to my mindset and model. I have been running naked Josh Allen teams and naked Jalen Hurts teams, and that's kind of where I've capped it in terms of everything else is skinny stacked.
Interesting. I think I would not double stack Josh Allen. I don't know if that goes like without saying. Without Gabe Davis and in that game environment. That weather, I'm way more spooked about that weather than the KC weather, for sure. For me, though, like Dak can get double stacked for me. Like I have no problem doing that if I get Lamb and then Dak and then pairing him with either Cooks or Ferguson. I will double stack Dak. I will get there with Stafford, of course, with Puka and Kupp. I'll do it with Flacco, with Amari and Njoku. I think that it's totally in play, given the fields, even with the field size. I think that you can still totally get there just because the number of games that we're working with. Like all it takes is one game to just go off, and then it can provide you with multiple scores that are scores you have to have. So for me, and maybe if you're somebody that needs a run back to think that is what it takes to work, then you can easily do that in like the Browns scenario where I mentioned Cooper Kupp or Amari Cooper and Njoku, and then you could tack on a Nico that's possible, or Singletary who's free. So there's many ways that you can do this. So I don't know if it's going to burn me, but I am porting, word we haven't used in a while, our small field style of play into the main, and I think it can actually have success this week. And I don't think enough people are going to do that.
Okay.
Have we gotten any Numi takes yet, or is he just shell shocked that the Vikings aren't in the playoffs and he has?
Yeah, I don't know what to do here without my JJ 101 takes, and he's going to be the guy you need. No, I when it comes to that, there's a running back also down there that's definitely probably going. Well, I mean, I have no idea, but still at a 33.6, like David Montgomery and Devin Singletary were guys that I was taking in all of my BRs when I maxed at a healthy 10 of them. So I got my 10 in and maxed in a nice small field, which I also will say same thing to the bomb and fullback dive, where I was heavily like double correlating with my pass catchers. A lot of Baker doubles, Dak when he fell, but those two running backs were basically ones that I was targeting over and over again, besides A-Chain. Or A-Chan, sorry. It was those three that I was going over and over again, and I guess Pacheco. So I was going a lot of two running back heavy builds. Well, it's getting either Pacheco or A-Chan, and then just getting one of those free backs over and over again. Because it seems like the market has went to, and everyone's exciting pick is Devin Singletary, when Montgomery could easily just fall into 2 touchdowns and take a little bit of that work from Gibbs. So...
Yeah, I mean, the difference obviously is Singletary has the entire backfield to himself and kind of has multiple paths to get there, where Montgomery's is exclusively through TDs. But I will say about like all of these guys, not only are they not getting drafted in every contest, and so you get a nice leverage angle there, but the way they win like really can just wipe out some of their chalk teammates. Like if Devin Singletary is slowing this game down, and we know the Texans are completely willing to run the ball as much as we all like CJ Stroud and Nico, like if they have a lead, they will just run and run and run. And then all of a sudden the Flacco stuff isn't getting there because their time of possession is lowered, all of that stuff. Same with the David Montgomery, like everyone loading up on those things. Like if he's getting there, you can just see so much else at the top failing. So getting that like compounded leverage of not drafted and cratering the game environment, I think is very attractive.
You could flip that on its head the other way. The matchup isn't as good and the role isn't as good, but you could do the exact same thing with Ford and Hunt.
Yeah.
Like just, pick your poison with one of those as a scroll the F down in the 6th round and be like, okay, now all the Flacco chalk of pass rate over expectation is dead. So yeah, if you put your GPP brain on, maybe even pairing those two together is something.
Yep. What have you guys been doing at tight end? It is like a pretty gross tight end slate. The Laporta Q tag angle doesn't even feel that fun because it's like if he is playing, it just seems like he's going to be limited or some kind of a decoy there. It's definitely a tough scroll the F down week at tight end. I would say Kraft in a timeshare with Musgrave, Freiermuth with like a 9-point team total. Do you guys have any Galaxy Brain tight end takes?
I've been doing a decent amount of Schultz as the run back, and then I've been doing basically Kelsey in the 3rd every single time.
Yeah, Kelsey feels pretty fun. And I will say with the Laporta, like I got a little excited that Laporta is practicing, and then I saw the practice footage and it looked like he was running underwater, like in slow motion. So it's if he is out there, it does seem like it's gonna be decoy stuff. But Dallas Goedert feels very much like a nice play. If it turns out that AJ Brown doesn't actually go and he becomes like the number 2 option in this passing offense against the Bucks, that he becomes a very, very attractive tight end on this slate. I would put his projection damn near even with Kelsey if it turns out AJ Brown can't go.
Cool.
Sure.
Let's have the Hurts conversation then, because I think that lends itself right into that, right? Because it's like, ETR has Hurts ranked as if he's not hurt, right? Like he's ranked as their number 1 quarterback right now. I'm drafting him as if he's going to play, he's going to be fine, that sort of thing. He's my highest own. I have 63% right now. I don't know. Can we trust it? Can we do that? Can we get over the field on what we deem is maybe the best fantasy quarterback out there?
I will say I did notice they updated. They do have Dak ahead of Hurts now, so I don't know if they put some kind of injury doc in there, but yeah, they still have him, projecting ahead of Allen and Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, this is by far just the most interesting game because of all of the injuries, right? We have like 2 really bad secondaries. Like we would want to attack this with Evans, with Godwin, with all 3 of the Eagles pass catchers. And then we're sitting here looking at these quarterbacks and we're like, are these guys even healthy? Because like if Jalen Hurts was 100% healthy, I mean, this Q tag for AJ Brown would be like the thing you should be attacking in like every single one of these. But we still haven't. Have we gotten an updated report on AJ Brown today? Has like anyone spotted him moving, living, breathing, doing anything?
They're keeping it really close to the vest, very close to the vest. And I mean, it seems bearish. It seems very bearish. But obviously, until we get more info, we just don't know. But I'm definitely, as of right now, playing it as though he will not play. So, John, when you said you had 63% Hurts,
yeah,
are you stacking? How often are you stacking that?
I would venture to guess I'm stacking it like 80% of the time. And I think most of it was with AJ Brown when it fell. A little bit of Goddard. I haven't done any with Swift, but I've done Swift as a run back on his own because I think him and Hurts just cannibalize one another so hard that I just want one or the other. And then I've been mixing in Devonta. Now we're kind of in this new draft window that was different to early in the week when I was doing that, where Devonta goes in drafts now. He wasn't going then. So I have a free swap to Devonta for the majority of my Hurts exposure right now, which is what I'll, take. But yeah, I'm not so. I'm gonna obviously have to taper a little bit now as like we get more and more bearish news. Like the fact that Jalen didn't even throw a football at practice and he was listed as limited yesterday is kind of beyond me.
I was actually surprised when I saw not surprised, but to see the Devonta Smith, how much he had jumped when the ADP refreshed. I don't know when exactly that happened, but he was like 35.2, I want to say, for a lot. And that now he's up to 32.7, which is a pretty big jump as far as what it means for him getting drafted in most contests.
Yeah,
we just got a little news dump. Something that Nez and I were talking about while you were away, Pete, is Romeo Doubs not listed on the practice report, so that kind of trends in the right direction. Christian Watson listed as questionable, which is kind of no status change. And then AJ Dillon doubtful now. Does that make Aaron Jones more appealing for you guys? Back-to-back 100-yard games and now perceivably has the goal line role?
Yeah, it's been a target for me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been drafting him. I mean, I was seeing what ETR had Dillon projected for. They had him at 3.41 points. So the question is like, actually, how much is the Jones projection changing? He was projecting very well. I guess you slide him a little bit more, but who did they use? So they use Patrick Taylor or somebody a little bit to spell him?
Yeah, primarily as pass catching, though. At least now, never say never, but like the goal line, I think in like kind of those high value touches were always the concern with AJ Dillon, because we saw it 3 weeks ago where it was like, okay, wheels up Aaron Jones, and then AJ Dillon was in and he vultures the touchdown at the goal line, right? So
Yeah.
You think we can
mean,
galaxy brain ourselves into some more Jaden Reed carries?
I don't even think that's that galaxy brain. Yeah, I like that. I mean, if JM were here, he'd be talking about Aaron Jones pre-touchdown fantasy scoring. I mean, his workloads, I mean, you see his like points, and you're like, oh, 14, 13, 16, dude doesn't have a ceiling. It's like he's cleared 100 yards rushing, 20 plus carries the past 3 games. He's finally saw an uptick in receptions. He just hasn't gotten in the end zone. Like if he gets in the end zone, I mean, his usage is there to support like a monster fantasy day.
Yeah. Kev brings up an interesting point in the chat there that Patrick Taylor's probably a bigger threat than Dylan is. Like in a vacuum, yeah, probably, but at the goal line, probably not.
Yeah. I think Aaron Jones is a good play. Do you guys prefer him like as a one-off in stacks with Green Bay or as a bring back to Houston stuff? Because that's kind of interesting to think through with him being more of a runner right now than kind of the robust pass game usage.
I'm all in favor of stacking him because I don't think the field is going to be stacking them. I think people look at this game and see the Cowboys as just like big favorites, 2 seed versus 7 seed, and Green Bay doesn't stand a chance. Whereas maybe they don't stand a chance to actually win the game, but like John said, they're definitely useful for us in this game environment. I've seen enough of the Packers this season to know that they can go blow for blow with teams. Like they may live or die by the Jordan Love home run ball, but they are a very competent offense. And yeah, Green Bay has a good pass rush or Dallas has a good pass rush. But I mean, if you do a stack there and like Green Bay makes this a game, you have you're live to be one of like 10 teams, maybe less than that, with a Love Jones pass catcher stack.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, the Love Jones one stands out to me. I think as a run back, it's going to be way chalkier. So just because like Aaron Jones and CeeDee Lamb line up so perfectly in the 4th round as a click like that on that side of the board right now, I think I like your idea, Nez, more so than like game stack those 2 skinnies.
Yeah, man, I really like if you were going to do the like, I'm going to get this Green Bay double stack at nil ownership and you pass on Jones and Reed. I'm not saying you have to do that. Like I think you could definitely include those guys, but like if you are trying to get like the giga leverage with Love, I think Wicks definitely makes sense. But then who would be the second guy you do it with?
Nez said Christian Watson, right?
Yeah, I'm Christian Watson pilled. I think he's playing. They've been really cautious with him. He hasn't played in like 5 weeks, but he's been limited all week. And to me, I think they were, putting him in bubble wrap to make sure that he could play in the playoffs is kind of how I'm reading this. And his skill set right now fits what Jordan Love is doing really well, which is just taking absolute just bomb shots. And who better than Christian Watson for that type of role? So I'm all in on Christian Watson this week and in the playoffs. But Wicks obviously has looked good, and he's earned, and like John said, he's probably earned some playing time. I'm just hoping it's not at the expense of my boy Watson, but it could be. I could be underselling like what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, but can't you? I mean, with the Q tag, right? You can draft Watson, and then if you want, just set it up as Wicks to sub in. I guess you get into dicey territory though if you're also dealing with AJ Brown Q tag stuff. This is where we need our guy Numi to learn how to code and give us individual swaps on these teams, bud.
My plate and list ideas here is just is ever growing. Don't you worry. Everything that keeps coming.
Yeah.
Maybe we will all be there at your next performance review to make sure that you get like the biggest rate possible. We got your back. You're doing so good.
I was already drumming up a raise for you on social. I said if we got to the mitten 69, you and Hope were going to get a raise.
Well, a tad bit short of that, but we gave it a valiant effort. The one thing that I find interesting, and again, I got to take everything that I do with a mega grain of salt because not only is it admin, not only is it admin, but it's I take it to the fact that it's the max our contest get are 216 people. So like I really like to double stack, and I set up 2. I'm looking right here. CeeDee Lamb, you get I think 1. You get whatever in the 2nd and 3rd coming back. And then you come back and you take Aaron Jones, and a lot of times you'd get Jones and Reed, and then that would give you a free Jordan Love pick in the 6th because you just wait, you get your quarterback there. So a lot of the times I would push up like and then Joku and get like Pacheco. But yeah, I have actually 2 doubles of the Aaron Jones with Jaden Reed with like Jordan Love there. And then I tried to, that happened. I think that was like my first 2 drafts. So then I saw that, I had 100% exposure to Aaron Jones and I didn't take 1 share for the rest. So it went down to then 20% Aaron Jones for the entire exposure.
I like it. I'm just, what I struggle with is like Amon-Ra, Gibbs, and Jared Goff are like the same combinatorial drafted percentage as Aaron Jones, Jaden Reed, and Jordan Love.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I love the Packers. Like I want to be higher on the Packers than most people, but I'm just trying to think of like the ways you can really, really win when you're right on that take. And like, I do think it involves a guy below Jordan Love here.
Let's talk about some of those guys.
Galaxy brain, man. I don't think you need to do all that.
What do you mean?
It's a 6-game slate with 45,000 entries.
Well, Jones falls into that territory with me with Pollard. Like I like Jones, but he projects the worst of the players who are getting drafted in like 100% of these. Like that's always been dicey territory for us in BRs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just think, I don't know. I guess I just have more faith in these Packers being like effective offensively. And I think that there is maybe one upside in Jordan Love this week. You know, and
well, I'm on board with the Jordan Love, but I'm just like, if you can get him with one other piece that isn't getting drafted a ton, that's where I think that's where I want to be with him.
That doesn't necessarily have to be a teammate, I guess.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so real quick, and I don't think we touched on him on running back. Basically, Hurts' teammate who fully practiced in DeAndre Swift, like looking at a 35.5 ADP, he was getting not the same workload as Jones, and obviously gets cannibalized, but with Hurts and just how good the rest of the pieces are in that offense. But if you're looking at a hobbled Devonta Smith, no matter whatever he brings out there, and hurt AJ Brown, like that just seems like a very interesting piece at 35.5 that it's below all the backs that you're talking about. Like every single back that we've brought up, he's below him. And probably for good reason, because I'm out of the streets, but I just see that and I'm like, it's interesting to me.
Yeah, I used him a couple times. Like his passing role is just like completely gone by the wayside. Like he just doesn't get targeted at all. It's bizarre. And like it's very one-dimensional. And then you take away the goal line work and it's kind of like, but I've done it a couple times with the Baker double. That's where I've done it, where it's like they get a lead, they score twice on the ground, and then it's the Baker double on the way back. So I've told that story. I think I've only done it twice now, but just, you know, because everything else is so heavily weighted to the Hurts stuff right now for me.
Yeah, you know, John's scrolling down if he's talking about Swift and a Baker double. What is that, taking Chris Godwin in round 2?
Yeah, that's Chris Godwin, round 3.
I like are we still on the wife narrative? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wife narrative is strong. I like what knew me about like, hey, this offense is fundamentally different than it's been all season, and thus it probably should theoretically lead to more work for Swift. My only bone to pick with that is like I am a little worried about playoff Kenny Gainwell and his usage once he comes in. I could see him kind of eating in to Swift's role a little bit, but I think it's an excellent like leverage piece. If it wasn't for you saying that, I probably would have 0 Swift in this context.
Since there's no McKinnon, and I know it's different teams, but now is Kenny Gainwell going to be that new playoff McKinnon, where it's just all of a sudden just vultures these touchdowns and gets there on just pure whatever, and then just starts getting that roll and more. Like
it's kind of the pass catching back, which is weird because Swift can do that too, but it's just very strange. They use Swift like Montgomery and Gainwell like their Gibbs. I don't get it.
I think in terms of like Galbrain, like scroll the F down, hidden gems and stuff like that, the wide receiver position is a better spot to do it than the running back this week.
Yeah.
Like just because like there's so many game environments that look decent with like our dome boners and stuff like that. And nobody's people are afraid to click like Josh Reynolds or Jameson Williams or, you know, like stuff like that. I think I'd rather try that than trying to get like overweight Swift or Gainwell or something.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean there's so many. Like I keep telling myself, like I want a Josh Reynolds click, and I still haven't been getting there because for so long, like Devontae Smith and Godwin are just, there, and it's hard to like pass on those guys. But I think you're right. I mean, even getting down here, like if you're doubling Dak, I mean, Khalil Shakur, I think is very much in play. I already said I like Wicks here. You mentioned JMO. What other scroll down guys would you be entertaining in this range?
I mean, if you can pinpoint who the second Houston wide receiver is going to be, like I obviously prefer if it's Noah Brown than Robert Woods, and I think Noah Brown's kind of like trending in the right direction to play. So like Noah Brown is a good way to get contrarian off of all the Brown stuff, kind of like that one, or off the Schultz stuff. Tucker likes it too, apparently. And Jalen Waddle, man, like obviously hasn't played in a couple of weeks, and he might legit be hurt. He was still on the sideline at practice the other day. I don't know. Just take a swap then, but I'm going to have a couple just one-off Jalen Waddles just because he's the kind of guy that can take a slant to the house, right?
The thing that scared me with Waddle every time I was about to click him was I imagined clicking him giving it a go, and then the first play, a play going up, him hitting the ground, and all of a sudden you just see whatever leg this, and he just walks off the field, and then it just goes Jalen Waddle questionable. You're like, seen this coming from a mile away, and it's just the whole game. Yeah, that's what I envisioned right away when I'm like, oh yeah, this was a smash play. But yeah.
What about the Chiefs stuff, guys? Are you guys getting to any extreme outlier on Chiefs? Because Chiefs basically have three pieces that get drafted, and that's it. Can we get to McCole Hardman?
I think it's too thin.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't have 12-person drafts this week, but would Mecole Hardman even be going in those?
Probably not.
So.
He's been flavor of the week in the playoff streets, but no, I do think it's too thin for me personally, especially when Rashee Rice right now is dropping like a rock in drafts.
Yeah, why is that? Was there any news-based stuff, or is it all just weather?
It's because it's gonna be cold.
He had a Q tag yesterday, though.
And now
he had a Q tag yesterday, and now he has the green.
Didn't it say he fully practiced? Wasn't that you clicked on it whatever had the thing, and it was
Dude,
fully
you're
practiced.
the one putting the Q tags on, man. I don't know.
That's a different department. That's the news team. That's the news team.
Goodness,
it's not new me. I'm gonna defend my boy while he's on stream.
Oh, that was a layup. No, he had a Q tag yesterday, and then now he has the green one. So he fell a couple times in drafts. I autoed him in the 6th by accident one time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not taken a non Rashee Rice, Kelsey Pacheco Chief. It's hard to tell yourself a story there where it's I'd be much more willing to do it with some of these other guys down here. You mentioned the stuff with Noah Brown. It sounds like he's gonna play. I think he's definitely interesting. The stuff too of trying to find double stacks that are not getting drafted a ton. I mean, the Stroud, obviously Schultz is getting taken just on the border here, but the kind of Stroud Schultz with either Singletary or then a Noah Brown there of getting a nice stack of good game environment, not getting drafted a ton, that kind of setup is kind of interesting to me.
Speaking of that setup, I didn't know if you wanted to go into a draft or do a pick'em, but the Texans pick'em projections are
pretty
screaming
nice
for us to put them in a play.
Okay. I love to hear that.
Screaming.
You guys, are you guys scared of the Browns defense?
Their home road splits are kind of interesting.
So are Amari's.
I would say that it's safe to be concerned, but wouldn't you say it's already fully baked into the ADPs and probably too much so?
I don't know. Nico goes as wide receiver 6. I think Mike Evans is in a way better spot if Denzel Ward plays.
Yeah. The thing is we saw, what was it? It was Dog Bowl week, right? Nico versus the Jets. You're going against one of the best secondaries, but he was just such a volume monster. I do think he is in kind of Mike Evans-esque territory where you just feel so good about the week in, week out, target share that he can kind of survive a lot of different type of game flows.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he's the alpha there. It's I matchup be damned.
Fair enough. Yep.
Yeah, I'm down to. Do you guys want to do a draft or two, and then we can do some pick'ems?
Yeah, let's draft something.
All right, let's just hop in a BR real quick. Get one of these going. What are we at right now? 40% Phil.
It's gonna be a long night for me. I got a long way to go on these.
Are you gonna stay up after your party tonight?
Oh man, I'm putting in work tonight. I promise. You're gonna see me in these streets until 3.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we talked
Sounds like
about
a
this.
threat.
Bretta James told me at Miami that he didn't sleep the night before because all the sickos were not drafting and hanging out in Miami. And he's like, I could sleep during the games or whatever like that. And he's like talking about how he used to go like sleepless Saturday nights and stuff.
Spoiler
I
alert, he
can
was
sleep
not
during
sleeping
the
during the games. He was drafting during the games.
Yeah. He's such a legend.
Oh my god, man, he was awesome. That was great getting to meet him, and I kind of believe him. He said that everything that he does on here is just straight brain play.
Yeah.
I believe him.
He's got the BR Sims in his brain.
Yeah.
Oh,
Projections are knowing ball.
So we are going to have the fun spot here, right? I assume CeeDee Lamb, Amon Ra go. John is obviously Tyreek over Kyren. I'm fine with Tyreek or Puka over Kyren. How would you guys want to go here?
I am Amon Ra, then Puka is my preference.
John is Tyreek, then Puka.
I'm Tyreek pilled. Yep.
And then Numi break the tie.
Yeah.
Unless you
Come
say
on.
Kyren, and then I have to break the tie.
Yeah, I don't want to. I just do whatever. I would say Kyren.
Oh,
Okay. So he says Kyren. We'll let John get this W here, and we'll go with Tyreek.
I mean, I need one right now. I don't know if people saw. I changed the avatar to purple, which means we're down bad right now. That is
man.
old habits. Old habits die hard. When I change up the avatar, we are down bad. Here we go.
That's like midsummer after fading Dodgers for 2 weeks and it not working
Yeah.
out. You're like, something's gotta give.
that's a baseball move.
Speaking of funny avatar stories, did you guys hear about our guy Paul? What happened to him getting the goat horns?
No.
Oh yeah. I
He
know.
won the
Yep.
double doink.
Yeah.
And that's how he got his first horns?
Yeah,
Dude.
but then he won a putt contest. I think the next night, a couple
next
nights
day,
later,
yeah.
to fully redeem himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is legendary. What
So
a way to
good.
get the horns.
Do you know what was so sad? As someone who desperately wants a pair of horns, I'm like, maybe I start just ripping in tournament teams into the double doink.
Oh my god.
No, Pete. What's gonna happen is we're gonna convert you to a full baseball bro, and you're gonna love it. It's the perfect GPP game. We'll get you.
So I've been taking Evans here, just thinking there's a pretty big teardrop at wide receiver. Anything else you guys see?
Yeah, I see the tier break
Evans
at
a
tight
Pacheco
end
for
when
me.
Njoku goes on the other side of the board. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I'm open to that too.
I like Evans.
All right,
I like Evans.
John, you're gonna have to take an L on this one.
Yep. It might come back anyways.
Darn.
Evans
he has
doesn't
to
come back.
figure out a way to make this a Baker double.
Well, I mean, this does set up very nice for Godwin
aware.
in the third.
I'm aware.
Swift,
I'm-
Swift
we
in
are-
the fourth.
Who says no?
I mean, that's one of the things that we didn't talk about, like macro wise, that makes this slate really interesting. Is like the dome games are also like kind of tough passing matchups. I mean, the Browns are obviously in the most favorable like flow chart state.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys like?
You could do like Dak and Ferg and do a Green Bay run back that nobody's going to touch. We could do White and do a Baker kind of thing. We could do HN and shut it down from that game.
I like Dak and Ferg trying that because we can get bailed out with Cooks if we
With Cooks.
Yeah.
if we miss out.
Yeah, it's interesting in these, like when you guys get CD at 1, with what frequency are you stacking him with Dak or trying to build out some non-Dak CD teams?
I
always
think
pushed
you-
it to the 5th and 6th and see if I could get it there, and then fill out with 2 more position players.
Trying to push Dak to the 5th and 6th. What's going on in these company contests?
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Collusion.
That doesn't
I
happen in
just-
the real world, Newbie.
Hey,
Not my
hey.
league.
I said I tried. Did I say it succeeded? No, I didn't. You just jumping me right now. Goodness. No, it
Just
did
like
not
fifth
succeed,
round Dak.
But I gave it a valiant effort. Sometimes we got to mid 4th, and they scooped it up. But I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people see there's so many quarterbacks down there, and with the gap that's why I would just try and push it. But so with that being said, I think no CD and Dak because of that.
So pushing you to the 5th and 6th, and it never happens.
Hey, you got to try something. You got to live a little in these 216-man contests.
I think
do think oh, go no. How have you been playing it?
I take it when it falls because I don't think it's going to fall for long, and I don't think it's going to fall like that frequently. So I've been taking it because I hadn't seen it as much. That being said, I'm still so far overweight hurts. But I think it's very interesting to watch how ETRs now, kind of pushed him up. If that impacts the market or the auto draft bros that just drag and drop the CSV, if he starts going on the other side of the board and that combo actually isn't chalky anymore and it becomes somewhat unique.
Yeah.
I'm a 2-3 turn if I get CD.
Yeah.
For Dak.
I click it. If he's there.
Yeah, I don't try to push it. I get unique elsewhere after the fact. So we lost
AJ Brown hurts. Just
So
there.
we probably want to keep a spot open for Cooks, or we could do the Dak Pollard, but I would prefer to do the Cooks just with the way those touchdowns would shake out.
Aaron Jones or Singletary.
I like HN, but
Yeah, I'm a big H-hand guy.
Okay.
Let's do. I do think how many times have we seen it in BRs this year where the Miami running back, Miami wide receiver are just so positively correlated together.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's 3 narratives for HN. It's they think he's the most talented. They give him more work this week. The Mostert is actually still hurt when they were talking about groin surgery 3 weeks ago, and he hasn't played since, right? He still has just the Q tag right now, limited again. After after 2 weeks off, still limited to start the week. That's kind of scary. So I think there's those paths. And then there's the path that, is there any running back on this slate that can just break one and break a slate like HN can?
No, I mean Gibbs, but
Gibbs maybe.
Yeah. So do we want to save a spot for Cooks? And then it's just figuring out tight end, or do you want to go with just a naked Dak? Doesn't feel great.
No, I would do Cooks and then do a Green Bay tight end and pick your poison, as that's your contrarian piece and it's a run back.
Yeah. Any of you guys have Green Bay tight end takes?
I was just reading this note that Musgrave seems like he was actually just getting eased in week 18 and expects to take on a larger role. So that could very well mean his starting job back. I know Kraft has been very serviceable and was also a rookie as well as Musgrave, but I don't think that we've seen the ADOT that Musgrave was able to provide whenever he was there. So I do think that they are different guys in that sense. And if we're playing for first, I think we just go Musgrave because of the probably much less drafted based on ADP plus potential ceiling if he is back to what he was doing. It's risky.
Question: do you need to run it back? You got Brandon Cooks there. You could just go if Schultz falls. You could just take Schultz. They're wondering who's going to be the wide receiver 2 in there. Why couldn't it just be Schultz a healthy? Well, never mind. F me. Carry on with your.
No,
I think
I like Schultz. It was more so I think just to get one piece that's not getting drafted.
Yep.
And just knowing
probably won't be, but
everyone's in the same boat as us, right? It's no one wants to take a tight end in a tight end committee. So it means neither of these guys are probably going to get drafted at a pretty big clip. And if one is, it's definitely going to be Kraft. And my guess too is that Kraft ADP started out a little early, and now the Musgrave stuff ramping up again. And now people are probably even taking their foot off the Kraft gas.
Sounds like we should have just take Christian Watson and then done the
You could take
shot.
You could take Laporta too if you think it's better, and then you just get a free swap as well.
I don't even know if I think it's better.
I don't think it's
Okay.
better personally.
Go for it.
My Kate Otten dream is done too. I can't do the Kate Otten stuff either, but that would have been another
You guys
option.
see the Laporta like back at practice, like doing all that, and the drill was like the equivalent to Kyle Pitts, where he was just a light jog,
Whoa.
like he wasn't doing anything on that leg, and it was just like, this is encouraging. Like
It would be.
it was, but
Someone should do like a social experiment on something like that, and it's actually like he's in a wheelchair, just kind of like rolling around on the sideline. They're like, Laporta back at practice, but you don't see the wheelchair in like the thumbnail of the video, and everyone just like retweeting it. It's just no one actually looks at the context of him back at practice.
The other back at practice one that I was saving for the playoff one there is Mark Andrews today.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Hang on, real quick.
Wasn't playing for that.
Yeah, I know. Another tech support question for you, Numi. And I saw this get asked in the Discord too, and I was wondering about it. What is up with the divvying up of playoff contests? Some in playoffs wild card and some in just playoffs.
Oh.
And he's muted. Is that on purpose? Are you being?
yeah,
risky?
sorry, no. I that's interesting. I will have to. That's good. That's good to know. I'm not in these streets. I didn't see that, so I did not get tagged in it. So I must have not been had my eyes on Discord at that moment in time. But yeah, I'll.
I think it's because they're filled and now they've moved there.
Are they rotating? No, because the mitten too is filled.
No, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. So, yeah, I'll ask that here. And see what's going on here. Send me a screenshot of that if you would. Just put it in our little DM. Let's do a little quick screenshot of all that, and we'll see what's going on.
Yep. All right. Let me just do a little tech support here.
Flashbacks.
Let's see. Let's build some pick'ems here.
Yes.
Hey, all right, let's build the Gill shootout pickup.
Is that up?
I think so. Certain areas don't have it or whatever. I'm just looking at it right now.
Oh,
Jack just retweeted a picture of Jennings, and it just says, "Who's the investment banker? I'm fading this guy."
There's the Matt. Hang on. Sorry, I accidentally did a double link. There it is. If you want to bet the max on Jennings and settle mid lowers.
That's amazing.
I got to post that one on Twitter.
That 10.5 line in the first round is so disrespectful. Like, that's low, man.
How many shots do they get?
25 shots from, like, we're talking mid-range. 25 out of the rack, I think.
Oh, I guess round one is the mid-range jumper, isn't it?
Yeah, like, we're not talking threes here. Like, 10.5 is, I know Jack hasn't been hitting the gym, but, like... Like, did he play ball in like high school and college or anything?
So Jack, like I've played pickup basketball with Jack, and he also has said this on the show. It's one of the most like iconic lines from the club where he's like, "Great basketball player, horrible shooter." What's his take? It's kind of true. His other quote is, "He's below the rim, Russell Westbrook." He does. He's good on the dribble. He's good finishing. Like has good touch, good court presence. But yeah, not a 3-ball shooter for sure.
Okay.
So this isn't really the contest for him.
Is he tall? Is he like 6'2", 6'3"?
He's like maybe like a half inch taller than me. Yeah, I would say like almost 6'2".
Yeah.
It is like this is such like a hilarious collection. Gilbert Arenas, Rashad McCants, Brandon Jennings. Then you got Lexi Brown, Jenna Bandy, and then Jennings and Jack down here. I also
Jenna's
love like
video
Jennings
looked
being
like
in
she
the
could
suit.
shoot. Yeah.
No, she's good. She's very good.
I fired out a tweet earlier there that I said Jennings looks like the guy who can't wait to throw out Jack's resume when he hands it in for an internship.
Yeah. All right, let's not get distracted. Although, like building out a 5-leg, will they let you toss this in to like a Texans pickup and then it's Jack lower?
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
You're just waiting till next weekend for Jack to brick out so you can clean up on your 20x. Sounds like
Would you put it past? Would you put it past Jack to throw around?
Oh, let's easy here. I think Jack is going to do enough sucking on his own. I mean, did you hear him on the club? He's just like, oh yeah, I'm not even trying. Like I haven't even, going to. He
Like,
already
this
has a
isn't for
defeatist
$100,000.
mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it on Wednesday. But it was like, yo, man, like you gotta be getting some shots up. I know it's tough to find a gym in New York, but come on.
All right. Nez wanted us to start looking here at Houston. What was the one that jumped out to you initially, or is it all of them?
Stroud passing yards immediately.
Mm-hmm. 242
at home. Probably this game has out potential, or at least over game total potential. So 242, I really liked.
It's got pass rate pace. Did they do a pace column this week on ETR? If they did, I missed it. But like that one seems like pass up pace game.
Yeah, I actually missed that too. If I don't know if Thorman did it this week or not.
The other pass rate that's been wild has been the Chiefs. The Chiefs are, they're going old school now and trending in the right direction with their pass rate.
That's funny. I was gonna take I had someone that I liked in the higher for rushing attempts.
Oh, I mean,
I like Pacheco's higher rushing attempts.
Mm-hmm. They could very well funnel through that.
16 for me.
16 rushing attempts. That seems pretty nice. He's been over 18 and 2. I mean, other than that, just weird.
I just
game
imagine
against Las Vegas.
him stomping his way through that cold tundra, just angrier than ever, looking like it when he's just carry after Mahomes.
Wait,
picks.
Are you saying he has kind of like a unique running style that people often comment on compared to other running backs?
Yes.
I like that one. Is there something Nez with Stroud you want to pair him with on Houston?
If we want to correlate, I think Nico, easy, or if you like Schultz more, you can do Schultz.
So it's interesting. You get more of the doc going receiving yards than with fantasy points. I guess then the question though, is the fantasy points just fully dependent on the TD? And if that's the case, do you just do that? Hang on. Let's go. You having a moment?
Normally we start this show like 15 minutes earlier, so he's had his lunch or whatever. He knows exactly what time it is right now, and he's just coming after me for lunch.
He's like as big as you, man.
He is a big boy. Yeah. So what do you? Which one of these? I would say. Let me see. What is it if you do the receptions too? So fantasy points is actually the most favorable there. Do you like fantasy points, yards, or TD?
I like fantasy points personally. I think, it just kind of fits the bill, and I'll take a lesser doc for, being directionally correlated.
Yeah, I like that. Is there anything we want to do on the Cleveland side for this game? I mean, Ford at 42.5 rushing yards seems light to me.
It does. The only pushback I would give is that all knowers think that Texans have a really good defense.
Plus, they might use 3.
Because the only thing I'm thinking through, like, if Houston is controlling this game, obviously they could get there on big plays, but I kind of like the idea of if we're playing something that's forcing Stroud to be chucking it all game, to have something like with the Cleveland running game. I don't think it's a must, but
Do they have a Kareem Hunt spice? I
Yeah,
mean, not
shot.
maybe not for this
1.5.
one, but just in general. Oh, it's only 1.
yeah. Or you could play at 1.5 receptions. You get a spice too. Let's
Do
see.
they
I'm
have a
trying-
Kareem Hunt spice? Like, there's only a limited amount of people that would seek out that question. And
There's a couple fall in the end zone guys for me this week. Like the fall in the end zone guys this week is like Demont ceiling of like 3, but like could fall in twice. Hunt and Lenny. Those are like the 3. Like if I was going to spice it up with some contrarian touchdown scorers, I just thought of that one because we were on that game.
The other one that seems nice, and I know Jeff flagged this one over at Fantasy Life, is just Njoku higher than 54.5. I mean,
Like
he's been such a monster, and I'm guessing this number is just getting held down because at Houston, he only had 44 yards, but I mean, he's just been so good.
It's hard to have more than 44 yards when your counterpart has 256 or whatever.
Yeah, if that's the caveat on the split, Amari doesn't have like the best game of all time.
Yeah,
you guys like that one?
Yeah, I'm all in on this game. So I don't think that these projections reflect like where I think this game can go and where it will go.
Yeah. Is there anything else from this game you want to do and then use like Pacheco as the rogue one-off?
Maybe Flacco passing attempts. I mean, their neutral pass rate with Flacco has just been off the charts, and I don't know why the playoffs would necessarily change that.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
What's been working.
Yeah, and if you're going to play into, they're not going to have much success running. 37.5, definitely a big number, but what, 42 last time they played Houston, 44 against Chicago. That Jets game, like he didn't have the ball like the entire second half.
Yeah, he didn't have to do anything.
Am I crazy for liking the yards more?
I don't think it's, well, let's just see what the difference is on the multiplier. 8.6. So you go to 13.24 on the yards, but you go, I guess it's pretty negligible. 13.93 on the passing attempts.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I just see the yards, and I just think that like it could be the same thing where it's like Flacco's got 215 in the first half. Like again.
Yeah, I'm reading I saw a little nugget on this earlier from 1 week season there that they like the.
What about fantasy points, guys? Because this gives us the best multiplier. This gets us up to almost 15.
Yep. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, sold.
It fits the thesis still.
And then gives us outs to the yards or TDs getting us there.
Yeah, with those bootlegs,
Yeah.
Listen to this name of 300-yard passers against the Texans this year. Zach Wilson, Desmond Ridder, Derek Carr, and then Flacco, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow.
That's a hell of a collage of names there.
Wow. Like if you were just playing like the target them inside pass defense narrative, I mean that's basically what John Boy Beats did when he did that the crazy stackage game.
Yeah.
All right. I'm locking in this first one here. I'm dropping it in the chat here. I'm dropping it in the private chat, and I'm going to drop it in the Badge Bros channel.
I'm not going to send you a Venmo this time, Pete. I'm good now. You don't have to double up for me.
Yeah, I didn't end up having to send you a 1099. It was close there. McBride away.
You're sweating.
Man, McBride's done us dirty a couple times now.
Yeah. He can't hurt us anymore, John. Well, do you want to just go to another game environment, or do we want to do some one-offs? Because I mean, there's like we love this slate. Every game has something that we love, right?
Let's check out our Packers, right?
248 for Love. Come on, dude. What are we doing? Oh man.
248 Jaden Reed 49.5, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good correlation one. What's the just curiosity's sake? Wow, Musgrave's only at. Do they have both tight ends listed? Musgrave at 2.5 receptions for a spice. Wow, that does not make me feel confident about the BR we just built.
No,
Well,
it doesn't.
can't
But
do much more than that.
relative to Tucker Kraft, who has the exact same,
Yeah.
and who we scrolled down for, now you feel a lot better.
It's weird that the receiving yards on Kraft is higher than Musgrave. The ADOT of like a guy like Musgrave is going to be, I would think, would be significantly higher.
Yeah.
Huh.
I kind of like this Wicks one, man. 30.5. And we don't have a number on Watson. We just have TDs on him.
I think Wicks still plays like a half decent role, even if Watson's active.
Do you want to
Yeah.
take the extra 2 yards for Jaden Reed rushing and receiving?
Sure. That's a good call.
Just because he does actually do that, even though he hasn't done it as of late. But
Yeah. Do you guys want to do one more here from the Packers side? I mean, Aaron Jones has been crushing this from a rushing yards perspective. I just don't know how we feel about him running on the Cowboys, or if you're trying to hang your hat on the receptions more.
I just don't think it correlates as well as if you do the.
But we might be able to. I mean, if we can actually offset, if you do that versus, yeah. I was
Oh, I
wondering
see
if
what
we
you're
would
saying.
get where you're more playing it less through direct correlation and more just like Green Bay really surprises here with their offensive efficiency.
yeah, I don't think we really need too much more, just because we're gonna get docked like even more so if we add another. Like I'm cool with these two as our play. But if you like the Wicks number that much, then let's add Wicks. But I'm cool with what we got going on here.
Sorry, what was the first option other than Wicks that you liked?
Just this,
Just this, yeah.
and
yeah.
then moving on to a different game. Or a
Or
different
do you
team.
want anything on the Dallas side?
Yeah, let's check this out first.
Tony Redact. Has this been like his number all year? I feel like it's been 59.5 every single week.
This is the lowest it's been.
103.5. I did not expect that.
Do you think it was gonna be higher or lower?
I thought it'd be lower. I thought it'd be like 95, 93, something like that. Like just, I don't know, like something about my mind being like postseason, whatever. But Jair Alexander didn't practice today or yesterday. He went from limited to DNP as well. So
Damn
shame. It's a damn shame.
We're jumping around, but like he's been our boy all year, and I still find like the 68.5 on Evans. I mean, it's just like
I thought you were typing Pitts up there.
dude, we took away the spice, man.
No spice on the touchdowns. It's just higher.
They're shook, man. And they gave us 68.5 instead of just giving us that flat 69 for the lulls.
Yeah. Well, it's so we can screenshot the 69 yards when he hits it.
Great point.
Yeah.
Do you want to look at any Rams, any Lions? I mean, that's another game environment that I'm like frothy over.
Copper Price is saying he likes the Cooks one too. What was the Cooks one at?
Well, no one's stopping CeeDee Lamb.
I mean, if we're technically following Pete earlier, we would just put the lowers in for Jennings and Settlement here, and then just call this a slip, right? Like,
hey, whoa.
Well, we just get that, and then
Freudian slip by the employee himself.
My apologies.
Please.
It's not being on here for a while. You know what I mean? But you just make a bunch of threes, and all of a sudden you add those on. You just tack them on.
All right. What
Cup is
other
69.5 receiving yards.
Wow. So yeah, that's interesting how much Puka separated from that. I don't mind that 69.5 there.
I think that's a smash.
Okay.
I think these two are very much closer in reality than these projections would have people believe, as well as what the BR and playoff best ball streets would have people believe as well.
What about Kyren lower rushing attempts? Anyone got the stones for that? 19.5. He's barely been cresting this in better spots.
Let's do it. I like it. And
Tough,
it correlates nicely.
tough run
with
defense.
The cup.
It is a correlator. I like that.
Yeah. So we got Jordan Love higher, 248. Jaden Reed, 51.5 combined scrimmage yards. Mike Evans, 68.5 receiving yards. Cooper Kupp, 69.5. And then Kyren Williams, lower than 19.5. I do like that.
Yeah, that's fun.
That Kupp Kyren, I think, works really well.
Yeah.
And there's no doc for that, I don't think either.
I don't think there was either. All right, there, posted everywhere. If you guys are having trouble with the links in the YouTube chat, they're in the Badge Bros channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord as well. Should we do an all spice before we head over and talk playoff best ball on the Badge Bros channel?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
All right, baby.
Let's get some spicy marks.
Should we do
Playoff
like
marks.
the progressive spice like we did last week?
That's kind of fun. That's kind of
was
fun.
Okay. It depends on what we like in the first game. Let's see here.
We're only getting 1.25s on basically all of the known commodities. I mean, you can always
1.75 on Schultz, 2.25 on Brown. If you, but is that? Did we want to go 1.25? Make it something safe?
Yeah, with our first leg.
You don't want to.
I mean, the first game there, the thing that looks at me it would be Schultz, and what was the other one? Elijah Moore. That's the only things that kind of piqued my interest. But
the Schultz is pretty nice. It's just you have the stones to torch the pick'em Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern.
Where's Najee when we could use him?
By the way, guys, was it? I can't remember if it was the one we did on Off and On the Clock or the one I did on the Cash Cram, but one of my insurance spices hit.
I think it was the cram. We almost hit. We needed digs for our insurance.
Let's keep scrolling. We can come back to that. I mean, Achan at 1.5 looks very nice to me.
That's my favorite one of that game.
We're not even getting a Kelsey one here. Rashee Rice at 1.5 is fine too.
Oh, Pete, real quick. Sorry. I just wanted to say we do have a hidden spice with Jerome Ford. That isn't a touchdown.
Oh,
Ooh, a hidden spice. Is it reception?
Because we searched by TDs. Yeah, it's his receptions. I don't have a lean on this. I just wanted to point it out just because it does seem kind of decent, but he hasn't hit that.
Newmy,
in the last three.
let us search spice and see all the spices, bud.
Put it on the
Add it
list.
to, do you want me to take a screenshot of that too?
Oh my god! Please do, please. It would work wonders.
I vote Achan.
I like Achan too, man.
He's got multiple outs. He could just be better. He could score from really far away.
We don't want to add this in because this is gonna get ripped, dude. This is gonna get ripped.
If you want to live on the spice wild side, you got to embrace it. Andrew, we know you can search TDs, but Nez just had to uncover the hidden spice. Not all spices are TDs, and there's no way to search for all spices. Take some notes, bud.
I'm gonna put on a class for the employees. You know, bring in the subject matter expert and show you guys how the queries work.
I'm just scrolling. I will say, like the Jaden Reed 1.5 jumps out to me as far as like a lot of these guys who are focal points of their offense are more the 1.25s for the TD. Do you guys like that?
Jaden Reed? I like Jaden Reed. Yes, he's my favorite.
In the chat, he's screaming at us for a Jaden Reed TD.
There you go, Gavin. There you go.
Can you scroll up for 1 second there? What was the Lenny one? I'm just out of curiosity.
Oh my lord!
2.5. Do that on your own time, John.
How is that not?
I will.
How is that not 10x?
We're gonna have a spicy Friday night because Latavius Murray doesn't play football anymore and he gets goal line carries.
Honestly, it's not. Why don't we have a James Cook one?
Because they know he stinks.
Newmy? Why don't we have a James Cook one? Newmy's never going to come on this show again. You just harass him with all of our text issues.
So the just general interest ones, the Khalil Shakir one, what was that one as well? You just go past it.
Tyler
Like
Higbee.
2 point something.
That one.
Sorry. 2.5
there's
is pretty.
There's your Kyle Pitts.
I don't think Higbee plays this week.
Well, then you get a nice little 4.
I mean, they do use Demarcus Robinson a ton in the red zone, but
I don't have the stones for it, but 2x is really nice for a guy that has a new emerging role that, like you said, is like a red zone freak. But I have bags in best ball for that.
I say we got it. I think we could get 1 or 2 from this Eagles game as well. Little Monday Night Football hammer. I mean, the Devontae Smith at 1.5, Goddard at 1.75. Both those look very nice to me.
Yeah, you get a little closing line value too if AJ Brown isn't 100% or doesn't play.
Do you guys have a preference on Smith 1.5 or Goddard 1.75?
I think it would be Goddard.
Oh.
Well, you're going to say Smith.
You guys are split.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that big of a. I just think I don't know. My brain just tells me get close to the goal line, anything like that. He's available there. Obviously, yeah, he's not going to have the deep shots to get you there, but I don't know. I just think that the whole scenario that maybe they don't run tush push as much. They do something different, so they're not just out there just injuring their star quarterback even more. I don't know, just a lot of things, and it's just more spicy.
I don't mind it. Maybe
break the tie.
Oh, I'll just chicken out and say we'll build a 5-leg, and then for the Monday Night Football hammer, you run it twice. Once with Dallas Goedert, once with Devontae Smith.
Fair.
All right, we got to find 2 more here. The chat's liking the Brandon Cooks one, 3 straight weeks with a TD. Copper was trying to get us on Cooks before. I don't mind that. More like leaning into him on the spice versus the yards.
I can do that. I like Brandon Cooks and very much enjoy this game.
Yeah.
I can see the archer. I can picture the archer celebration in my head right now. The bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see math-wise what
Rodney.
yeah. So all we need is a 1.25 to get us. I'm trying to see what just a regular. No, we don't even need we just need a pick. We don't even need a multiplier to get us to 100. Yeah.
All right. Where's Najee?
Who is our favorite from those other ones? Do we want to do something from the Houston game since we didn't do?
I'd say Njoku or Pacheco rush attempts are probably the leader in the clubhouse.
Either
what do you guys like better?
I'll just spin one. Amon-Ra with potentially no Laporta is interesting just to get anything on the higher side there for his props, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't look at any Lions stuff. What was Lions just in general?
Yeah, 89.5.
Probably a little.
I think
number
5 first downs. Doesn't that just scream lower?
I don't know. We don't see what the box score is on the first downs.
Yeah,
first downs. That seems like a lot of first downs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
He's saying add the lock of the century in there, the settlement lower and call it.
I think
we're doing this.
Would it? No, I just like.
Let's do 100x.
I'm gonna. Oh no! Well, yeah. What would it let me do it? Yeah, I'm gonna put one. This is. Oh, I've hit my $100 limit on Jack Settlement. All right, this is also going on Twitter.
Oh, you got to screen grab that.
That's so good.
Oh my god,
that's so good. I'm so glad that exists.
I'm so jealous.
Oh man.
Mr. Ray on Twitter replied to my pickup entry. He said, I bet my entire net worth, parentheses, $180 on settlements under if anyone wants this action. That's incredible.
That's hilarious.
Me blowing my entire pickup load on Jennings and settlement lowers feels very good. All right, sorry. Let's get back. Do you guys like Pacheco or the Njoku to round this out.
Oh God, man.
I like Njoku.
Yeah.
I think Njoku as well. Because I kind of think no matter what happens in this game, Njoku can get here. Pacheco needs the game to go one way, in my opinion, for him to do what he needs to do.
Yep.
All right, this is what I'm doing. I'm running this twice. I'm running it once with the Dallas Goddard, and then I'm running it once with.
Hopefully, it stays 100 with Smith in there.
That's what I want to check on that. Let's see. Yeah, because Smitty is 1.5 versus 1.75. I wasn't sure how much wiggle room we had on that.
That was not A/B testing.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, that still gets us there.
Okay, cool.
Which means we were leaving some multiplier on the bone.
I like
kind of have to.
All right. There it is. Pick'ems. Fun.
I felt good about these.
Yeah. If you guys build them, if you build any bangers yourself, drop them in the drop the link in the chat. Like I'm telling you guys right now, if I think you're sharp and if you post a link to one, there's like and I see it, there's like a 98% chance I'll tail. If you post a screenshot or I think you're a donkey, then I won't. But if you post a link, there's a good chance.
You probably don't even have to be sharp. You just need the link, and he's just like, it's right there. It's one. It's there. We go. Now I'm entering.
Yeah, I want Copper to stop gatekeeping his 100x spicers and just waiting until after to screenshot it. You're going full tout life. He does 100 of them, and then the one that hits, he puts on Twitter.
Yep.
Start posting the full portfolio in the Discord, Copper.
You're gonna get.
I'd really like to see Leone's full results from the dome.
Yeah, I don't care about just winnings. I need to see the profit. Is what I need to see. All right. So here's the plan. We are going to transfer right over to the Badge Bros channel. This should also, if you just refresh, you should magically be teleported over there. But we're going to talk some playoff best ball. I know I've done some playoff best ball stuff. You guys have done it, but we haven't combined forces. We still got the Gauntlet 2 with a $50,000 prize pool up there. And I don't know, the further we get along in the week, I still feel like I'm getting better at drafting these. So I want to keep talking through some playoff best ball stuff. So we're going to do that right now over on the Badge Bros channel. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great wild card DFS weekend. And I will be live on Ship Chasing tonight for our kind of playoff week finale with Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone. Thank you, Numi, for sitting here and getting all of our tech support requests. You're not going to be making it over to the Badge Bros channel, right?
No, sir. Nope. I have to hop off. So I appreciate you guys letting me come on here and just nod my head and not know exactly what's going on with the slate. But yeah, appreciate it.
Every show needs a Nate.
There you go.
All right, guys. Yeah. We'll see you over on the other channel, right? In 1 sec. Peace.